Well, hello and welcome. This is Snake River Junction, and I'm Gary. Here's another episode for you. My next project is this Athearn GP9 diesel freight train in the Union Pacific road name. What I plan to do is make it DCC ready. That's Digital Command Control. Some modifications have to be done, and I'm going to be walking you through how I did it. Now let's get started. First thing I did was remove the shell by squeezing the sides out a little bit, and it should pop off. Just like that. And then you put the shell off to the side. I'm going to do some rewiring. I'm going to remove the wires attached to the motor, but leave the wires on the trucks. Going to remove the light feature in front because I'm putting an LED in the shell. I'm going to remove the motor and work underneath to isolate the motor clip from the chassis. I desoldered the motor wires. Then I removed the lighting feature. In order to get the motor out, these little 4 rubber pieces, motor mounts, you just push them in. And the motor should pop off just like that. We plan to do in DCC, these flanges have to be pushed down and flattened. I know some on YouTube have cut those off, but you don't need to do that, or they switch the bottom one to the top. And then I got to clean up a lot of this solder because it looks messy. So once I cover this area with the liquid tape and then put it all together, I'm going to attach all the wires to the little circuit board I just made. It is a copper clad PCB laminated circuit board that I bought on Amazon. You get a whole 10-pack. Put a little groove down the center so that the red wires go on the right, the black wires go on the left. I also going to connect somewhere, if I could, a wire to the side black wire down here, come up. To get to that area, I have to take off cap to the gear worm. And then the wheel should come right, wheel assembly should come off. Does need to be cleaned. Now, in order to get this up, you have to be careful because there is a spring. Just pop the corner off a little bit. Because you don't want to lose that spring. Brushes are stuck in there, but I'll get it out. And these little tabs, you don't need to break them off. You just get something flat and tap on it. So I'm going to take it down to my vise and make it flat. Gonna clean off all the parts and then put it together. As you can see, I was able to bang the flanges flat using the edge of my vise and a hammer. It does pay to have the right tools. Now I am going over all the parts with isopropyl alcohol to get all the grit off of everything. I'm using a fiberglass scratch pencil on the wheels. Okay, let's get started. Now just going to be wiring the motor again. I soldered the black wire to the bottom clamp of the motor. I reassembled the motor. I put the brush in first, then the spring, being careful not to fling it across the floor, because once you lose that you can't find it. Then I put the clip back on with the first the curved piece on first, and then it should snap right into place. Then I worked on removing the excess solder from the top. Then soldered the red wire to the edge of the top one. And it's back to the same thing. The brush first, then the spring, then the clip. And it snaps in. Gave it a little taste of oil. Then I soldered the black wire to the bottom of the truck. After that, I reassembled the truck. And the way to put these back is there is a little notch right there that goes up. After the gears were placed in the truck, I gave it a little high temperature bearing grease. Just making sure I put it on right. It looks like there is a little notch right there, and it's opposite each other. So, looks like I have to flip this one over, and I'll have it the same way. Get them all in the groove. And this is a matter of just snapping this back in. And there is one of them. So I'm gonna shut this off, clean the other one, and then come back and assemble it all back together. I got it all back together. I put back the worm gear. First I put the wheel in first, the truck in on the pin, and put the worm and the rotor in, the rod in, and then snapped on worm gear cover. And I have the liquid tape, electrical tape underneath the motor so that there's no contact with copper underneath. I glued on the circuit board. Now I am going to solder the motor wires on. Fitting the red wire from the motor on the right side of the circuit board. And the black wire of the motor on the left. When it comes time to putting a decoder, all I need to do is put a vertical groove just in front of the motor wires. Now I have to connect the pickup wires from the trucks. I'm going to first insert shrink tubing. I'm not going to put any heat to it. It's just there to keep it neat. After that, I am soldering the truck wires to the circuit board. First the back, and now the front wheels. I glued an LED to the shell. I put a resistor on the copper wire to protect the LED. That's the one with the green wire to it. And now I'm testing it. As you can see, it is nice and bright. I'm now soldering the LED wires to the circuit board. Once that was done, it's just a matter of putting the shell on carefully without pinching the wires. In order to make the air tanks that are seen on the side of some of these trains, I've used this, which is a barrel that I had a couple scraps, and I left the circle right there. I was going to go facing up. What I did was use some super glue, a little super glue down the center, and glue the two pieces together. And then I glued a piece of scrap plastic, which I'm going to put across the two barrels. And there you go. 2 air tanks. Thank you for watching my video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe.